Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. Single Lady Chronicles. Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Friday night. Listen, tonight, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Tonight's show is about following through. So, what happens when the plan sounds good and the follow through falls short? So I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest. I got tapped on the hand. Tap, tap, tap. One of my good friends, I love him so much. He asked me, he said, he's really, coming up with some things that he's going to monetize in his life. You know, he's all about making sure that he has easy revenue streams of income because who doesn't want that, right? We want passive income. We want to make sure that we work smarter and not harder. And so he asked me, he says, "So what do you think you want to monetize?" So I told him, and he said, "Okay, so when do you think you're gonna, move on that?" And I was like, "Well, I have some time coming up in the future where I know I never even said it, where I know I'll be able to focus and have time to do that." And he said, "Well, why don't you, go ahead and start with it tonight?" And I said, "Well, okay, well, I can, but I know I'll be able to focus." I didn't say that to him. But I said, I know I'll be able to focus. But, then we went and talked some more. And I had gotten to the point where I was like, you know what? You're right. I could do it tonight. I could start on it now. And so we had also had conversation about what some show topics. And so I was like, well, give me a show topic. I want to pick your brain. And he said, well, what do you do when people say they're going to do what they're going to do, but never do it? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do that tonight. We're going to talk about how we move past saying we're going to do something, but actually doing it. Why? Why do we do that? I'm guilty. I am guilty. We say we're going to do something and we never get around to doing it. And then life just continues to go on, right? It's the beginning of the year. We come up with resolutions, we come up with plans. And by month 2, month 3, stuff is falling short. Stuff is going to the wayside because we don't follow through. We talk a good game. We say we wanna do this. We say we wanna do that, but we never follow through, and we never get around to actually doing it. Now, there's one thing I know I was able to accomplish, and obviously you can see, right? But when it comes down to the things that are really going to help us make a difference in our lives, we hesitate, we procrastinate, and we make up excuses. And tonight I wanna encourage me I want to encourage you to follow through on what you say you're going to do. Life is too short to be talking and not producing. Life is too short to be wasting other people's time on what you say you're going to do, but actually not have it come to fruition. So, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about why this happens and try and find some possible solutions on how we can get some progress happening in our lives so that we can work smarter and not harder. Okay. So, talking feels like progress. Let's just get into that right now. We talk about it, we talk a good game. We say we're going to do this. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We tell a million people. Come on, let's tell the truth. We tell a whole bunch of folk, and in our minds, talking about it feels like it's actually happening, but you ain't did a darn thing. You ain't did nothing toward it. And I'm speaking to myself as well. We talk a good game. We say it to other people. We put it on a napkin. We put it in our purse, and then we just go on with our lives as if that thing that we talked about never even happened. And it just sits on the back burner, right? So that's one. Talking about it feels like progress, but we have to move beyond that. Also, we love the idea more than the effort. Ooh, trust me when I tell you I've been guilty of that. Oh, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. But you can have the idea, but you got to put some effort behind that. Okay. Even when we have tools, you still have to put some effort behind that. And so just because it's a good idea and you kind of feel like you got how to flush it out in your mind, you still got to do the work. We still have to do the work. We still have to spend some time on it. Even if we're using AI, you still got to make sure AI know what you're talking about, okay? You got to keep talking to AI and keep flushing it out um so that it can become a concrete plan, right? Shout out to Lloyd Hassel. He is the creator and host of The Big Swing. Check out his newest episode on The Big Swing on Apple Podcasts. He is talking about how basically AI changed his life, how ChatGPT changed his life. This is not a plug, but it's a really good conversation on how you can get started on using AI to figure out your dream and monetize your life. All right. So, like I said, talking feels like progress. Loving the idea more than the effort. You got to put something behind that. Then fear shows up after the excitement. You excited, right? You got the idea. You love the idea. Ain't put no effort behind it. Now you scared. Okay. Fear shows up right after the excitement. And then you get sidetracked. You get scared. You feel like you're now not able to do it, right? You think that somebody is better than you, right? You think that, oh, I'm not big enough. But guess what? I am here to let you know that you don't have to be afraid of that. You just go and need to do it anyway. Do it anyway. Your business is not small, it is your big business. Your little podcast ain't just a little podcast, it's a big podcast, right? Oh, your little business ain't just a little business, it's a big business. And so you shouldn't let fear stop you from getting to your goals and getting to your dreams. Don't let fear show up after the excitement, right? We get all hyped up, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then fear sets in. You and also fear can also be self-doubt. It can also be self-doubt. That is your mind, that is you telling your mind that again, you're not good enough. Your business is too small. No one's gonna do this. No one's gonna follow. Guess what? There's a lot of people in this world. Okay. And that means you're bigger than your circle. There are a lot more people out there that are bigger than your circle. Okay. All you have to do is do the work, put in the effort. And once you do that, well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot more that you need to do, right? But you have to not let fear set in. You just have to do it anyway. What else we got? Motivation is temporary. Wow. So that goes also along with, fear showing up after the excitement. You're no longer motivated. You came up with the idea, but now something else got in the way, and now you're no longer motivated. You probably saw somebody else doing it, but so what? They ain't gonna do it like you, right? You probably saw somebody else doing it, but they're not gonna do it like you. They're not you. They're not you. How about you make sure that you get your stuff out there, you do what you need to do, and do it better than anybody else, okay? Motivate yourself to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Motivate yourself to see where your brand or your business can be, okay? Don't let it be temporary. Overwhelmness is disguised as confidence. So some people talk big because they haven't yet broken the goal down into manageable steps. Come on with that. This goes back to effort. You can't just, you can just do it, but make sure you have a process. Make sure you have steps. Make sure that you actually flush this thing out, right? Okay? Don't overwhelm yourself with, I gotta do it now. I gotta, make sure I put it out there. No. Make sure there's a process. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure you prove that process. Make sure you prove that plan. Okay? So we're not gonna be fearful. We're not gonna um we're not gonna be motivated for a few moments, right? We're gonna do more than talking so that we can keep with progress, right? What else? We're going to have identity versus intention. So following through often requires becoming a different version of yourself. Following through means you need to become a different version of yourself. I'm not saying change completely, but I'm saying enhance what you already have, right? Enhance what you already have, meaning, look, you got it. You have it. You just need to put something on it. You just need to stick with the process. You just need to follow through. You're watching patterns, not promises. Words sound good, but patterns tell the truth. Consistency matters more than excitement. Consistency. I've been doing Single Lady Chronicles now since May 31st, I think, of 2025. And for the most part, I've been putting out a show once a week. And if I hadn't put out a show, listen, I'm going to put something out. I'm going to do a rerun of something because I need to make sure that people know Single Lady Chronicles is here and it ain't going nowhere. Okay? Well, at least this version of it. Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. Okay? So here's some tips on how we can follow through on what we say we're gonna do. Me too. I'm included. Me. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Okay, start small. Start smaller than you think you should. Yeah. Start smaller than you think you should. Like I said before, it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be grand as long as you do it. But start smaller than you think you should so that you can work your way up. Because if you start smaller than you think you should, then you have somewhere to go, right? Prove what you're doing. You have somewhere to go. Then you can take steps to making it manageable and so that it's successful. Start smaller than you think you should. Stop announcing everything. Now, you know how we do. You know how we do, "Oh, I got this." No, putting it up everywhere, right? Putting it up everywhere and then fizzle out. Ain't nobody seen it. I told myself I did not want to start Single Lady Chronicles and then it fizzles out and leave a Friday leave a Friday untouched because I told myself, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure I'm consistent. Okay. And so when I started Single Lady Chronicles and when I make the announcements, I make sure that I follow through on what I say I'm going to do. But if you know you're going to be flaky, stop making an announcement. Okay. If you know you're not going to be motivated, if you know, gosh, if you know you love the idea more than the effort, if you know you're not going to put effort into it, stop making announcements. Make sure you are ready, right? Make sure you are ready when you're going to go ahead and start something new. Okay. Yes, still do it anyway, right? Do it anyway, but that's that starting small. Okay. So don't overwhelm yourself. Do it anyway. Make sure you're ready, but make sure it's something that's manageable and progressive. Attach goals to routines. That's sage right there because when you have a routine, it's easier to complete your goals. So you want to make sure you attach your goals to your routines in life so that you are successful and making sure you do what you say you're going to do. Okay? What else we got? Build systems, not just goals, schedule, reminders. Get you a notebook. Okay, get you a notebook, get you a to-do list, right? Make sure that you have something in your grasp to remind you that this is what I'm working toward and this is what I want to accomplish. Now, you're going to expect pushback, you're going to expect resistance because you got haters. Yeah, you got haters, but you can't let your hate stop you. So you're going to expect resistance. You're going to expect somebody saying, "Girl, what you doing? You can't do that." Right? Or, "Yo, son, somebody else doing that. Why you doing that?" Somebody's gonna question you, right? And so, but you're not gonna be dismayed by that because you're gonna already expect it. Focus on identity, not outcomes. Woo! Here's the thing. We know we want to make money. We know we want to be successful in what we're doing, but you have to make sure what you're doing is true to you. It's true to you. It's something that you are passionate about. It's something that you care deeply about. And it's something that is going to be true to you, right? And so when you have that in the forefront, the outcomes will come, but you're not going to worry about the outcomes. Because when you have that true to you, the outcomes will come. Trust me. When you're passionate about it, the outcomes will come. When you put out your product and you feel good about it, the outcomes will come. The views will come. The money will come. The traction will come. The likes, the shares. When you're passionate about it, the outcomes will come. What else? Give yourself grace without quitting. I can't tell you how many times I was like, you know, okay, I'm tired, but I know I got to do it, right? Or, my goodness, this was a crazy week, but I know I got to do it, right? You still want to honor how you move throughout this life, but don't quit on yourself, right? So give yourself grace without quitting. Don't quit. Stick to it. Stay in there, right? Do what you say you are going to do. When the plan sounds good, but the follow through falls short, these are some tips that can help you make sure that you follow through on your plan, follow through on your goals. Okay. Now, whew, I gave a lot. I'm listening to myself because I'm one of those persons that say, "I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that." But sometimes I follow through. Life can get in the way, right? You got to make sure that 9 to 5 is good, right? But you have dreams and you have goals. And so just because you have that 9 to 5 doesn't mean you can't pursue your dreams, doesn't mean you can't pursue your goals. You have something in you that needs to be brought out, and you have to plan and just do it anyway. So let me recap. Okay. Let me recap. Here we go. Talking feels like progress. Don't talk yourself into not doing it. And don't just talk and make it seem like it's actually happened when you know you ain't did nothing. Okay? You love the idea more than the effort. You got to put some effort behind what you're doing. Fear shows up after the excitement. Don't be scared. Motivation is temporary. You have to stay motivated in doing what you say you want to do. Okay. Identity versus intention. Following through often requires a different version of yourself. You might have to change a little something, something in order to get to where you want to be. Watching patterns and not promises. Words sound good, but patterns tell the truth, and consistency matters. So you got to start small. Start smaller, and that's okay. Stop announcing everything. Attach your goals to routines. If it's routine, it's going to happen. If you attach your goal to your routine, listen, you're going to make sure whatever you said you're going to do gets done. Build systems, not just goals. Put things in place that help you. Reminders, a notebook. Get a big board, okay? Do a checklist, do a to-do list, but make sure you put those things in place so that you can get to where you want to be. Expect resistance. You're going to have some haters, all right? Focus on identity and not the outcomes. Be passionate about what you want to do. Don't worry about the outcome. Whatever you're passionate about, it's going to create outcomes and it's going to work for you. Give yourself grace without quitting. Understand your limitations. Know what you can do, but make sure you don't quit. Whew, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to complete my goals. I'm ready to do what I want to do in life. Thank you, friend. Thank you so much. There's so many things out there that can help you. Those are just my tidbits. Again, you can use AI to pretty much help you figure out anything you want to do. Okay? ChatGPT is an amazing tool. Again, my friend Lloyd Hassel has a podcast called The Big Swing. And he's doing a series on how to use AI to get you to where you want to be. So don't be out here saying you're going to start something and you never follow through. Be about your business, okay? Don't be wasting nobody's time talking about you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and, and it never happens. Listen, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to you. And we're going to be out here making some coins. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in to Single Lady Chronicles. Listen, I will see you next week. Look, what do you want to talk about? Give me some show topics. Okay. I want to make sure that you all are engaged in that, we are all helping each other. All right. So stay tuned to Single Lady Chronicles next Friday, 8 p.m. on Facebook Live. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.